Shabbat Shalom. First and foremost, giving all praise, all honor, and all glory to the Holy One of Israel, whose name alone by saying Hallelujah. Once again, I'm Minister Yoel Shiloh Israel, one of the ministers here at the House of Yehuda, and our attempt to bring the true children of Israel, the so-called black man and woman in America, who is part of the House of Israel, back to the holiness, the oneness of the mighty Yah. And today is a great honor, a great blessing to teach the word of Yah to the true children of Israel, those that are scattered abroad in the four corners of the earth, and those that are here within the confines of the United States of America. It was a great honor, great blessing. And today, we're going to deal with several subject matters. We're going to deal with prophecy. We're going to see if the Christ of the New Testament indeed, who many call Yeshua, some call Yahawashah, some call Jesus. We're going to investigate the so-called Holy Scriptures, Old Testament, what is really called the Holy Scriptures, or the Scriptures of truth. But they call it the Old Testament. So we're going to investigate the Holy Scriptures and see if the Christ of the New Testament, if he even comes close to fulfilling any of the prophecies of Yah that has not yet been fulfilled. And we're going to deal with spirit, the spirit realm, and goblins and demons, the spirit realm. Is this stuff a myth? Where did it come from? Where did it originate from? And first we're going to deal with a question that I posed last Shabbat. And I posed it to the members here at the House of Yehuda and to those listening abroad. And this is the question. And I want you all to chime in, call in to give your input on it. Because wisdom, the scripture said, is a safety in a multitude of counsel. And Solomon said, we don't want to lean unto our own understanding. And I don't want to lean onto my own understanding. And I hope you all do not as well. But I posed a question the other week to one of the ministers here at the House of Yehuda. And of course, he gave his input and people gave their input. But I didn't hear anyone from the listening audience give their input. So I want to hear you all's input. And all you have to do is call area code 513-377-5815 or type it in by way of the internet. And the question I posed was this. If a man's wife got into an altercation on the street with this man's wife, she's an Israelite. But the person that she got into the altercation with, he was an Israelite by birthright, but he didn't know it. He thought he was African American. He was we're gonna say he was one that was brought up in the street life, ran the streets. But nevertheless, they had some words. And what ended up happening is altercation broke out, and he ended up beating up this Israelite man's wife. Two were arrived in the process. And the question I pose, 5 years later, they find out that this what we call Jacob, dead Jacob, because he didn't know he's Israel. He woke up to the fact Israel. He woke up to the fact of who the Most High is. Yah. And he turned to Yah. Start serving Yah. Start worshiping Yah. And 5 years later, her and the husband was out, and they seen him out in public. He had his ZZs on and everything. And she said, that's him. That's the man that I will tell you about. That man jumped on me and beat me up 5 years ago. And I said, what should a husband do? Should he approach him? Should he pay him back for what he did to his wife? What actually should he do? What should he do? What should he do? Should he just leave it alone? Well, I got different responses and comments, but I'm gonna show you what the scriptures say. And I brought this point out because we were dealing with meekness and we're dealing with being humble as well. And this is what the Most High said, because you're dealing with something that's could have been very traumatic on his wife. Just busted her all up, blacked her, broke her ass. So it's something traumatic, something that stayed with her. But nevertheless, I always teach, you got to leave your emotionalism out of it when it comes to the word of Yah, his laws. Now, what do I mean by this? If you go with me to Leviticus, the 19th chapter, and should a man put his hands on a wife? One brother asked this question. He posed this question. Oh, then should a man even put his hands on a woman? And I say it all depends. Now, what I mean by that? If she's coming after you, she's attacking you, you have to at least restrain her, hold her. You don't have to block her ass and beat her up. You can at least restrain her, hold her. Because, believe it or not, women have been known to cut me, stab, do all types of things to me. Throw hot scalding water on while they sleep. Even know about heard about a woman that cut a man's penis off while he was sleeping. So as men can be violent, women can be violent as well. And when it comes down to the truth of the matter is, you shouldn't be putting your hands on anyone, regardless if it's the man or the woman. But the brother posed the question on fact, because we live in a violent society. And a woman can get just as violent as the man. Yes, she can. I know you all might not believe that, but yes, she can. But we live in a violent society. So when a brother posed that question, he said, he just said the man, should a man beat up a woman, put his hand on a woman? And I say the question should be both ways. Should the woman put on her hands on a man? And absolutely not. But you have religious books that teach not to just put your hands on the woman. Said A man can beat his wife. You got religious books that teach this. A man can actually beat his wife. Now, does it say that in the Holy Scriptures? Absolutely not. Does it say that in the New Testament? I have not read it. So where did I get that from? I got that from the book called the Quran. The Quran instructs a Muslim man, if he fears his wife has been disloyal to him, the first thing it tells him to do is refuse to share her bed. It tells him to do three things: admonish her, refuse to share her bed, and the last thing it says is beat her. Beat her. And you have millions of Muslims that adhere to the word of the Quran because they think this is the word of the Most High. Just like you got millions of people that follow the New Testament. They think the New Testament is the word of Yah. But I have to often remind the Muslims and the Christians, absolutely not. The Father does not speak in the Quran. The Most High does not speak anywhere in the New Testament, period. So I have to often remind them of these things. But you will read things out of these religious books that goes total against the ways of our fathers, the ways of Torah. But nevertheless, this is what these books, this is what the Quran says. So I pose that question to a man beating up another man's wife in the streets. What should he do? If that man, he done turned to Yah 5 years later. Let's say he did turn to Yah. What should he do? But I pose that if he turned to Yah 5 years later. And this is what the Most High said, dealing with his law. You go to Leviticus, the 19th chapter. Leviticus chapter 19. And anyone can call in and advise, man, he done turned to Yah 5 years later. Leviticus, the 19th chapter. Here's what it says. The 19th chapter of Leviticus. This is what the Almighty Yah has in this law. He says, in the 17th verse, that thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. So the first thing the Mighty Most High told us, don't even hate your brother in your heart. And within the confines of the Israelite community, Christian community, Islamic community, African American community, it's so much hate for one another that we have. And one could say it stems from Willie Lynch. It stems from this, or it comes from that. But nevertheless, the Curtis said, don't hate your brother in your heart. He said, thou should not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. And these laws we don't teach on enough. The Most High said, don't avenge. This is not my law. He said, don't bear any grudge. And that's very difficult for Israelite not to do. Because a lot of Israelites, they bear grudges. They bear grudges against one another just because they have a disagreement on doctrine. They start hating one another just because they disagree on what the Bible is saying. One is interpreted this way. One understanding this way. And when they can't come to a common ground, instead of learning how to disagree without being disagreeable, they disagreement turn into hatred. They disagreements turn into insults. They disagreements turn into all types of abominations that come out of our mouth against one another. And we Israel, as a nation, and the Most High said, love thy neighbor as thyself. And if truly you don't love yourself, it's impossible for you to love anyone else, especially your neighbor. But this is the law of Yah. He said, don't avenge or don't bear. We're the type of people, we'll bring up something 5 years and 10 years later that somebody did. But the same people that will claim to keep the Day of Atonement, Yom Kippur, the day that Yah set aside for the sins of the whole nation to atone for. But we'll say, y'all may have forgot about it, but I ain't. But I'm gonna deal with him. I'm gonna get him back. It's payback time. But the mighty Yah said, don't avenge. And then he said this. You go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 19th chapter. Because I didn't bring in everything that could have occurred doing that man beating up that man's wife. Because you should call the police. Was an investigation done? Was it reported? Was there any witnesses that seen what actually took place? Because Yah has laws. We didn't do things haphazardly. We didn't do things just running off our emotionalism. And you talking about some 5 years later. That woman could be picking out somebody that didn't even put her hands on her. But you know how many people is in prison by false witnesses? How many people is in prison because they look like the perpetrator that did it? And these people are doing life in prison on the mouth of one witness. And the Most High has order. The Creator has structure. And this is what Yah said in Deuteronomy 19 chapter. Verse 15, he said, one witness should not rise up against a man for any iniquity or for any sin. And any sin that he sinned at the mouth of 2 witnesses or at the mouth of 3 witnesses shall the matter be established. We don't follow this. We quick to go off of what somebody told us, off of one witness. And then it's so damnable, we start spreading rumors off of what your friend told you, or what your brother told you. I don't care who it is. A teacher tell you, your brother tell you, your mama tell you. The law says 2 witnesses shall a matter must be established by. We go off of one witness. And we know to only go off the mouth of one witness. And then we become rumor mongers and talebearers, violating the laws of Yah. And he said, if a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that is wrong, then both the men between whom the controversy is shall stand before Yah, before the priests and the judges, which shall be in those days. And the judges shall make diligent inquisition. Ain't nobody doing no diligent inquisition today. We going off of hearsay. We're going off of rumor mongering. Who's doing diligent inquisition? People being accused of this, being slandered on about this. Ain't nobody doing no diligent inquisition. Going off of false rumors. Going off of talebearers. And the Most High said, behold, if the witness be a false witness, and I testify falsely against his brother, then ye shall do unto him as he had thought to have done unto his brother. So shall thou put the evil away from amongst you. And like I said, you got thousands of black men and women incarcerated off of the mouth of hearsay, off of the mouth of even DNA. And you can't go by this so-called DNA. Knife planted on somebody, a gun planted on a brother. When you're dealing with DNA, you got what they call transferable DNA. Man wasn't even at the scene of the crime. How did his DNA get over there? Because you got something to deal with transferable DNA. If you know anything, if you in law enforcement, you know about this. So you can't trust DNA. Y'all say at the mouth of 2 or 3 more witnesses. And if you testify falsely against somebody that which is wrong, then life goes for life. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth, burning for burning, whip for whip, beating for beating. Now here's a husband that's emotional. He's going off what his wife is telling him that's the man. So what he do? I got to defend her honor. He go approach the brother. Brother said, man, I don't know her. I ain't seen her. She said, that's him. That is him. I remember his face. And he's claiming that I ain't never seen her, brother. I don't know her. But her husband he feel like he got to defend his wife honor, put his hands on that man. Now, altercation break out. Now, he strike that man. Now what? That man fall and hit his head, as the Torah says. Now he's a murderer. Now he's a murderer. Because he went off the mouth of his beautiful, lovely wife. They got beat up by a man. by a person. And now she's without her husband. The children is left without Abba being in the house because he went off his emotions. He didn't go up the law. And then look what y'all said. And then what y'all said, go to Ezekiel. Ezekiel the 18th chapter. Brother Israel, say you'll never forgive a attempted killer. You will never forgive an attempted killer. Well, you will never forgive Moses. Was it not Moses that killed an Egyptian? Huh? We got killers all throughout the Bible, all throughout the scriptures. There's nothing wrong with killing. There is absolutely nothing wrong with killing. Now, murderers is something different. When you murder a man, you shed innocent blood. But the greatest killer in the Holy Scriptures is the Most High. He is the ultimate killer. And then after David, I have to say, and you had so many killers. You had Samson, you had David, Joshua. You had so many valiant men that slew men with a jawbone of an ass. You had men that slew 1,000 with a bow, with a sword. We had killers amongst us. Phinehas was a killer. When he seen a man and a woman in the wilderness, they doing their little thing, and she was moaning and screaming, and he was having a good time. And Phinehas looked, took his javelin, and ran it through both of them. And what did y'all reward? Didn't y'all reward that killer named Phinehas? Yes, he did. Made an everlasting priesthood with a killer named Phinehas. So we known to be killers. We are known to kill. Anytime you eat, you kill something. You killing something. Now, if you're a vegetarian, you kill it. You a meat eater, you kill it. You ate meat that has been killed by somebody. So if you say you against killing, but you support killers, and I support killers, I don't support murderers, because I'm gonna kill in order to defend myself and my family. I'm gonna kill. I'm gonna kill to eat to survive. I'm gonna kill. Whether it's plant life, animal life, I'm gonna kill. So there's nothing wrong with killing. Yes, I know you meant murder, but I have to clear it up for those that might think, because a lot of people think killing is wrong. Why? Because the Bible says, thou shalt not kill. And they go off that literal interpretation of Exodus the 20th chapter, but that's not the correct translation. The correct translation is, I should not murder. You should not murder, not kill. And people don't know the difference between killing and murder, just like they don't know what adultery is. But the Creator defined his laws. He defines it. And right here in the book of Ezekiel, the 18th chapter, this is what the mighty Yah saying. Ezekiel the 18th chapter. You say you won't forgive a murderer. Well, we're going to investigate that too. Ezekiel the 18th chapter. Let's investigate that too. In Ezekiel the 18th chapter, it says, in the 20th verse, it said, the soul that sinneth, it shall not die. The son shall not bear the iniquity of the father, neither shall the father bear the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon him, and the wickedness of the wicked shall be upon him. But if the wicked will turn from all his sins that he hath committed, and keep all my statutes, and do that which is lawful and right, he shall surely live, he shall not die. Notice, you didn't read one word about turning to Christ. You didn't read one word about accepting the blood of the Lamb. You didn't read one word about listening to what Paul said. No. All you heard was law. All you heard what the wicked had to do is to stop being wicked, stop sinning, and turn back to Torah instruction, keep the Torah instruction. And the Creator said, he shall live. He shall not die. And as a matter of fact, Most High said, all his transgressions. Now, what do all mean? I'm talking to y'all. What do all mean? Maybe he was a sodomite. Maybe he was an idolater. Maybe he murdered a man like David. Maybe he numbered Israel like David had Israel numbered. Maybe he forgot to sanctify God. It didn't sanctify like Moses did. The critic said, all his transgressions that he hath committed, they shall not be mentioned unto him. In his righteousness that he hath done, shall he live. Most High said they won't even be mentioned. Chris said, they won't even be mentioned unto him. But you know what we do? We mention. We'll do that. Us. And I'm talking with a lot of former idolaters. I'm talking to a lot of people that was once worshiping a hippie on a stick. Not all Israelites, but a lot of Israelites was not born in this way of life. They was going to church on Sunday. They was going into mosques. Maybe they didn't take a man's life. They didn't murder a man. But one thing they did, they committed the number one sin, that's death. They committed the number one, and that's idolatry. And after idolatry, they violated the Shabbat day. Working, cooking, barbecuing pork chop, ribs, and everything else. They were doing everything under the sun, celebrating the pagan holidays. But yet, we won't forgive. That's the difference between us and the Most High. The Creator said, I'll forgive Israel. That's why you cannot compare any man's mercy to that of the Yah's. You just can't do it. No man is capable of having mercy of that magnitude. Absolutely none. Yes, we got any questions or comments?
Okay, Michael White. Israelites have tried to murder me for the heathen money. So am I supposed to trust them?
No, you stay away from them. No. You know a person don't mean you no good. You don't go to the trouble. You stay away from it. You keep your distance. Yes, and Israelites is known to murder they own black prophets. Wasn't no white man over there talking about I'm gonna murder the prophet Isaiah. I'm going to murder Ezekiel or Micah. These were black Israelites murdering their own people. And one thing terrible about Israel, the African American people today, they get mad when a white man blow our brains out. But when we do it to one another, the hype is not so great. It's only when somebody don't look like us do it. Because we don't learn to accept it when we do it. And it's called sickness. It's a sickness that has plagued the African American community. And that is acceptance of somebody that looked like you taking somebody that looks like you life. We done been desensitized to that. And I don't get desensitized to any criminals taking the life of a black man, whether he's my same complexion, darker, or white. It don't matter. He's a criminal. He's a criminal. And you can't be biased in your judgment. You gotta have the same zeal, same veracity. You gotta go after the low life black heathens that murder blacks as you would with the same zeal you're going after the white police. It should be the same zeal. But we don't. We don't. And then we got all these black abortions by these black women today. You gotta go after them with the same zeal. Protest these abortion clinics with the same zeal. With these young black women murdering young black men, future probably kings, queens, prophetess, prophets. You gotta go after these people with same zeal. If Black Lives Matter. Black lives just don't matter when a white man is taking a black man's life. It gotta matter across the board. Across the board. But the Most High said, all his transgression that he hath done, they should not be mentioned. I don't know a more merciful Elohim than God, a more compassionate than the Most High. When Moses prayed for his own brother Aaron, he forgave Aaron for committing idolatry. When David repented, he forgave David. But David committed sins that were worthy of death. But the mighty Yah said, no, I'm going to intervene. I'm going to give him a pardon. I'm going to get Aharon a pardon. I'm going to get a nation of Israel a pardon. I'm not going to destroy them. And we got a nerve to think we better than our fathers. We worse than our fathers. Many of us ain't worth entering to that holy land. Ain't worth the least of y'all. But we quick to throw stones at one another. And it's bad. But I want to go back over that because you can't rush to doing things in judgment, going off the mouth of one witness, whether it's your wife or whoever it is. And like I said, the prison system is loaded with black males in there and black women that's innocent, and they got to go through this innocent project and all this stuff. And they done did 30 years and 40 years in prison, and they come back, oh, they wasn't the one that did it. Why wasn't they one that did it? They was lied on. The police only went on a mouth for one witness. Not two, one. One. So that's a no-no. So, any comments on that? Someone want to comment, call in and get an input of that. 513-377-5815. But that was my response on that matter. Now let's deal with the spirit realm. Because somebody said I follow the 7 churches. Oh, goodness. Kevin Belly. Shalom, brother. You said you follow the 7 churches. Well, I don't know what 7 churches you follow. But I'll show you whatever the 7 churches is. If they're not Israelite, Torah-based, then you're dealing with cults. I hate to put it like that. You're dealing with cults. Baptist, Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness, Pentecostal, you name it. They're all cults. They all were started by man, not by the Most High. You won't read a word about the Pentecostal church in the Bible, Old or New Testament. You won't read about a Baptist church in the whole Bible, 66 books, 88 books, 81 books, and nowhere in the Bible, period. All these cults, like I said, they got the origin from man, and they all come from under the big whore called the Catholic Church. Presbyterian, Pentecostal, all of them come out from under the mother whore, the Catholic Church. So I don't know what these 7 churches is, but they can't benefit you nothing. But only thing they can do is indoctrinate you with lies. Lies after lies after lies. That's why I cannot get no Christian minister in the world to dialogue with me, to edify the listening audience, and prove to not only us, Israelites, but to the world that Christ is to be worshipped. To prove not only to us, but to the world, Christ is the Son of the Most High. Not only to prove to us, Israel, but to the world that the Christ of the New Testament did away with the law. They can't prove these things. They can't prove that Sunday is the day of worship, the first day of the week. These things come from Constantine and Jerome, St. Jerome. So you got to do your research in history. They don't even know the origin of the New Testament. They don't even know the historians that spoke on dealing with the canon of the New Testament. They don't know about Origen or Tertullian or Eusebius. They don't know about Marcion, the first New Testament canon book that was formulated that had all the books of Paul in his canon, which the Catholic Church adopted, Marcion's canon, and then they added the other epistles to the canon. They don't have knowledge of these things at all, period. So I don't know these 7 churches you're talking about, but they 7 churches of hell. That's all. 7 churches that will lead you into damnation. That's it. And Christianity is the largest religion on the face of this earth. Largest. And millions, billions of people gonna die because they don't believe in this lie. Lies, lies, lies is all it is. Lies. Well, let's deal with the spirit realm right now. Yeah, the 7 churches are the lost tribes. They're all different. Put it all together, it's a story, one big book. The 7 churches are the lost tribes. Well, maybe you have to educate me on that, because I don't know about any 7 churches being a lost tribe. All thing I know about is the 12 tribes of Israel. That's the 12 tribes. So these 7 churches, and the only people that's mentioned in the Bible, period, is the house of Israel, Old or New Testament. These are the people that the Christ of the New Testament, Yahushua said, you only go to. The lost sheep of the house of Israel. He didn't say go to the Baptists. He didn't say go to the Methodists. And even when you're dealing with 1,000, it don't mention one word about a Pentecostal or a Presbyterian. Even in the book of Revelations, if you go by it as a Christian, it says 12,000 out of all 12 tribes. Will you get 140,000 of the Mormons? No. Of the Seventh-day Adventists? No. Of the Jehovah's Witness? No. Of Israel. Because this who the mighty Yah sent the prophets to. The Israelites. And they scattered abroad in the 4 corners of the earth today as I speak to you. He never sent the prophet to go to some Baptists or Methodists. But now, unfortunately, the prophets today, we got to go to the Baptists. We got to go to the Methodists. We got to go to the Pentecostal and the Presbyterian. Why? Because our people who are Israel by birthright, they had adopted to the religions of men. We got to go to the Muslims, to the Farrakhans, to the Khalid Muhammads, to the Malcolm X's. And we got to tell them, we got to sit down with them and talk to Brother Farrakhan and say, hey, Brother Farrakhan, you know that we Israel, right? You know that you Israel, right? And he could talk real diplomatically. He could talk real eloquently. Well, the bottom line is his Quran will let him know that we are the people of the book. His Quran will let him know that if he in doubt to anything that he don't understand according to this Quran, he got to come to Israel. Because we are the people of the book. If he need to know anything, he got to come to us. Because prophethood was given to the Israelites, not to the Muslims. And he knew, and he even confessed that we are the true children of Israel. Khalid Muhammad confessed that we are the Israelites of the scriptures. Of the scriptures. The only one that ain't confessing, we ain't getting them out of them yet, is a lot of the Comedics, Egyptologists, brothers. But nevertheless, let's deal with the spirit realm. Let's go to the book of 1 Samuel, because our brother had told me something disturbing. I ain't gonna tell you what he told me, but it was, boy, it was disturbing. Disturbing. Dealing with something I ain't gonna even say. I ain't gonna even say, because people that listen might know, but I told him exactly what to do. So let's deal with the spirit realm. Let's go to the book of 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel. Because it's very important that you know the spirit realm. Because a lot of you might come in contact with somebody with a bad spirit, or a spirit might come upon you. So we're going to investigate the scriptures dealing with spirits in the spirit realm. Go to 1 Samuel. Go to 1 Samuel, the 28th chapter. And what you not to do in 1 Samuel, the 28th chapter, we had our first king that we requested because we rejected Yah. We wanted a man like all the other nations to rule over us. So Yah said, go ahead, Samuel, protest solemnly unto them and show them the matter of the king that shall rule over you. And no Israelite that's worth a grain of salt would have been out here voting for Biden or Trump, putting a heathen or European over them to govern, rule over them. Yah is our king. But we chose Saul. And this what happened with Saul. in 1 Samuel the 28th chapter. We're going to start reading in verse. But we're going to start in 1 Samuel 28. Let's start at 1 Samuel, the 16th chapter. Go to 1 Samuel 16. 1 Samuel, the 16th chapter. And this is what happened. In 1 Samuel, the 16th chapter, then you'll see why he did what he did in 1 Samuel, the 28th chapter. In 1 Samuel, the 16th chapter, this is what it says. In verse 6, it said, it came to pass when they were come, that he looked on Eliab and said, surely Yah's anointed is before him. But Yah said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For Yah seeth not as man seeth. For Yah looketh on the outward. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but Yah looketh on the heart. In other words, yes, man does. The eyes of a man is never satisfied. Man is constantly looking. Constantly looking. He's never satisfied with seeing. He's never satisfied with hearing. He's always looking at how he can make more money. He can be a billionaire. Can't even get no sleep because he's looking to how he can make another 5 billion. He's never satisfied. He can have the most finest dime wife. He's always looking. See something? Looking. He's always looking because the eyes of man is never satisfied. And man is good for judging the outward appearance. And the outward appearance can fool you. It can fool you. Just going by the outward appearance. But y'all say, I don't judge the reins and the heart of the man by his outwards. I judge the spirit. I judge the inner. I judge what he's thinking. Where is his mind at? Where's her mind at? I judge the inner. And Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel. And he said, neither have he chose this. So Jesse was looking at, he knew all his sons, the tall ones, the stronger ones. And Jesse made Shemaiah to pass by. And he said, nah, y'all ain't chose him. Again, Jesse made 7 of his sons pass before Samuel. And y'all have not chosen none of them. None of these sons y'all chose. And Samuel said unto Jesse, are here all thy children? And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest. And behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we could not sit down till he come hither. And he sent and brought him. And now he was ruddy and withal of a beautiful countenance and goodly to look to. And Yah said, arise, anoint him, for this is the one I chose. Little short, ruddy fella. The one that people lie, man, he ain't nobody. He ain't out there like that. He can't even speak well. How he gonna represent Yah? He just a youth. And Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brother, and the spirit of Yah came upon David. From that day forward, so Samuel arose up and went to Ramah. Now, what did it mean the spirit of Yah came upon? Wasn't the spirit of Yah already on David? What are you talking about? The spirit of Yah came upon David. Because there was a special spirit that came upon David. David already had the ruach of Yah. He already knew Yah, who Yah was. Now, this spirit that came upon him, what was it? What was this? But the spirit of Yah departed from Saul. And what is the spirit of Yah that departed from Saul? And an evil spirit from Yahweh, Yahuwah, start troubling Saul. A spirit that wouldn't allow him to sleep. A spirit that wouldn't allow him to rest. What type of spirit was this? Don't you know there are different types of spirits? So like you got a spirit of wisdom, the spirit of understanding, the spirit of counsel, spirit of might. You got spirits, all types of spirits out here. Spirits of jealousy, spirits of hatred, spirits of envy, spirit of anger. That person they always angry. That's a spirit. They always upset about something. That's a spirit. They can't rest. Ain't nothing good in life to them. Always mad, upset. And it says, Saul's servant said unto him, behold, now an evil spirit from Elohim troubled thee, because y'all send these spirits out. It is important for you all to have a way about you already, because you can open up gateways. You can open up gateways. It depends on how your spirit is already is. If you already got characteristics, bad characteristics on you, just mean, don't even have to be you just mean. Good morning. What you talking to me? What you talking to me for? Tell me good morning. Roll your eyes at people. There's certain spirits you will allow them to come in. You will allow them to come in. And that's why I don't shake hands with everybody. I don't embrace everybody. Once I sense the spirit on a person, you don't let everybody, women do your hair, get to just playing with your hair. They playing with it. They playing with it. Because they rubbing the things, the energy is coming off of them, right unto you. And as I said, I grew up around, and we're going to get into this, huntings, places being hunted. And can what they call a demon possessed person? Can a spirit possess a person? Yes, a spirit. A spirit can take and possess it. How do I know it? Because Yah told Cain in the book of Bereshit, what Cain didn't offer the best to Yah. And he rejected Cain's offering. And Cain was wroth. He was mad. He was upset. And Yah told him, if you do well, you're going to be accepted. But if you does not well, sin lieth at your door. And unto thee shall be his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. In other words, you let certain spirits in because of how you are, how your spirit already is. And Saul was no different. And a lot of these things come in because of your disobedience. And that's what y'all said about Saul, because he rejected Saul, because Saul was disobedient. And when he rejected Saul, an evil spirit troubled him. And this is what happened. It said, let our master now command thy servants, which are before thee, to seek out a man who is a cunning player of a harp. And it's upon thee that he shall play with his hand, and he shall be well. In other words, music could drive away certain spirits, but it got to be a certain type of music. It can't be no F the police, let's get them. Let's get them, kill them. It can't be no violent type of music. With no, you got a violent child. He's always getting into trouble, always fighting, and you put on some NWA. You planted, you blasting this type of music in your cars as Israelites riding around in your youth is listening to them. What do you think they're gonna take on? They're gonna take on that spirit. Because you got spirits that come from music, whether it's black music, whether it's heavy metal, banging, and these white boys just listen to heavy metal. They just and next thing you know, these crazy jokers done went out, got a shotgun, got a scope, and they shoot people. These wild heathen Gentiles. The stuff they listen to. Then you got video games. Oh my goodness. You got video games. Cut the beat, kill the beat, shoot him, boom, 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 boom. And your child is playing video games all day. Gun down, boom, boom, shoot him, get the beat, kill him, boom, stop him, kill him, shoot him. And next thing you know, you get a phone call. Oh my God, he did what? Oh my God, I can't go to the school. He done stabbed the boy. He done what? Yeah, he done what? Little Jeremiah done did what? Yeah. Because you let little Jeremiah play all them violent video games. They took hold of him, of his spirit. Got him. Now you gotta try to detox it. Now. But this is what happens. So when you feeling your spirit getting a certain way, they'll own some mellow music. They'll always go to it. We can't go to no jazz place now because COVID. But you can put some jazz on. Put some mellow music on. Just you by yourself. And maybe a little red wine. Just chill. Just chill. Just mellow out. Mellow out. But music drives away the spirit. It can bring on spirits. It can remove spirits. Because I told the brother exactly what to do. And he can also tell the person to put on some music. Play certain music. Calming music. Soothing music. And then we go to the then we go to 1 Samuel 28 chapter. 1 Samuel chapter 28. First Samuel 28 chapter. Cause you got some brother out here, they look at their Rocky movies and they get revved up, they working out. Someone might put on some dun 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 dun. You get hyped up. They listen to certain things to get hyped up before a fight, get their spirit revved up. We'll go to 1 Samuel the 28th chapter. And this is what happened with Saul. When y'all rejected him, when y'all's not with you. It says in verse 7, verse 5 of 1 Samuel 28 chapter, it said, when Saul saw that the hosts of the Philistines, he was afraid, and his heart greatly trembled. And when Saul inquired of Yah, Yah answered him not, neither by dreams, nor by Urims, nor by prophets. Now, why would he get afraid? He's the king of Israel. Because Yah wasn't with him. And some of us might feel that same way. Yah's not with you. Now, why ain't he with you? Because of your disobedience. You can feel it. Oh, Yah ain't with me. I know he ain't with me. So you might do what Saul did. Or you might seek out a position. Because you don't believe Yah gonna heal you. So instead of seeking out one of his servants, one of his prophets, that deal with holistic medicine, herbs, you go to the physician. You go to the Gentile heathen. You go to the doctor. That's the first person you run to because you know Yah ain't working with you. Yo, you numbered already. You already numbered. You are getting things ready, set in order. You know. But when you got confidence, Yah with you, we got trust in Yah. You wait on Yah. You stay patient. You don't get afraid. It says Saul inquired of Yah, and Yah didn't answer. Then said Saul unto his servant, seek me a woman that have a familiar spirit, that I may go to her and inquire of her. And his servant said unto him, behold, there is a woman that have a familiar spirit at Endor. Because these people, they deal with these things that's out here. And y'all say, I don't want you dealing with people with familiar spirits, telling you what you're going to hit the number next week, tomorrow, how your luck going to change, what man going to come into your life, what woman going to come to your life. You just have to learn how to choose. That's all. Seeking people with familiar spirit. What my grandma at? Grandma was talking to me last night. I think that was her. Where's she at? Going to see Miss Chloe and Miss Cookie. And this and that. It's an abomination. But this is what people do. Then they're gonna have some luck. And these people, all they doing is putting a curse on you. Like I said, my auntie going to see a woman. And a woman told her, you're gonna have a problem with money and men. Money and men. Money and men. Now, auntie been married? Has she been married? No. Ain't never been married. No. Still got a problem with money? Yeah. Still got a problem with money. Still got a problem with money. Because you gave her power over to that woman. Left her article back, clothing back. couldn't remember certain things. And that's what happened. And that's what happened. Saul disguised himself and put on other raiment, and he went and 2 men with him. And it came by a woman by night and said, I pray thee, divine unto me by the familiar spirit, and bring him up, whom I shall name unto thee. And the woman said unto him, behold, thou knowest that Saul hath done, how he hath cut off those that have familiar spirits and wizards out of the land. Wherefore then layest thou a snare for my life to cause me to die? And Saul swore to her by Yah, saying, as Yah liveth, there shall no punishment happen to thee for this thing. Because he like, man, I'm the one in disguise. And I'm seeking a familiar spirit. Now I had them all put out the land, but now I'm in trouble. Y'all ain't answering me. And I need some help in regard to this matter. Then said the woman, who shall I bring up unto thee? And he said, bring me up Samuel. And when the woman saw Samuel, she cried with a loud voice. And the woman spoke to Saul, saying, why hast thou disquieted me? For thou art Saul. You all see those seance things they do. People around in a circle. And they got the medium, the woman. She, next thing you know, her head going back and she coming back up, head going back, and she coming back up, and then somebody starts speaking through them. And right here, it's saying, a woman spoke to Saul, saying, why hast thou deceived me? For thou art Saul. And the king said unto her, be not afraid. What did you see? And the woman said, I saw gods. I saw mighty ones ascending out of the earth. I saw them ascending out. Gods. Because all spirits, according to the scriptures, return back unto Elohim who gave them. All spirits, according to the scriptures, return back unto Elohim who gave them. So she saw these gods ascending out of the earth. And he said unto her, what form is he of? And she said, an old man cometh up, and he is covered with a mantle. And Saul perceived that is Samuel. And he stooped with his face to the ground and bowed himself. And Samuel said to Saul, now you got this spirit talking to him about this woman with a familiar spirit. Then it goes on to tell him, Saul, how you and your son gonna be with me tomorrow. Something is just leave it alone. Leave it alone, because you might hear something that you don't want to hear. Let the dead stay asleep. Go waking up people. Well, like if you in a deep sleep, you know how I feel. You in a deep sleep, light off in a room, and somebody just come in the middle of the night, turn on the light, bright light. You're like, what you want? Well, I couldn't find the cereal. When you tell me where you put the cereal, you woke me up for that. You described me for that. I'm sleeping good. Leave me alone. Because that's what they'll be, is sleep. It's sleep. That's what Mania told the patriarchs, go sleep with your fathers and stand in your lot in the day when I raise you back up. So you don't mess with the spirit realm. Leave it alone. Because you don't know what you're going to get. Go to the book of Psalm 78. Yes.
Yeah, Shalom, I have a question. What if you, like, what is you somewhere and you walk in and you say certain things to somebody and they respond like saying that they look like a witch and they say they are, and they start telling you stuff about yourself. What do you sit there and just stand there and listen to what they say, or do you just leave? Because that's like what happens with my cousin. And she was saying that this woman looked like a witch.
The woman looked like a witch?
Yeah, because she was dressed like how people think witches look when she had all black. She had the appearance.
She had the appearance of a witch.
And
she told her she was a witch.
And she said, yeah, when I see it in an elevator together, and she said, yeah, I am a witch. And so my cousin just started telling stuff about my cousin, and my cousin knew that what she was saying was true.
Oh boy, she just got that elevator real fast. And
the
bad thing is she didn't know y'all. And she didn't stop.
she didn't stop her. She sat there and let her tell like basically like her whole lifespan and everything she was telling her was true. And then, but it was too late. When by the time she got finished, they had already got to the floor and they
Wow.
had already separated.
Now, ain't that something?
And then
And people don't think this stuff is real.
Yeah, she was scared after that.
I wish she was here so she could tell the world, the public.
Yeah, and
You got witches out here. You have real live witches. And like I said, I don't deal down and I don't go and I've been in New Orleans once when I was young. That was my father that took us down there for a trip. I believe it was a karate tournament. But Haiti is a witch haven. It's known for all types of voodoo and things, witches. And she should have stopped that elevator. She should have told her, hey, don't tell me nothing. I don't want to know nothing. You got to say. And got off that elevator. Got off of that real quick. But you got these real live witches out here, these sorcerers out here. And y'all said you don't deal with them. You stay away from them. People like to read your palm readers. You got all types of evil spirit, but people don't believe the spirit realm. Like I said, we had things possess your house. When you buy a house, purchasing a house, you better find out if it was buried on former cemeteries. You better find out if somebody died in the house you moving in. Because some people they spirit don't leave. They stay right in that house. Next thing you know, you moving in there, you hearing things, start falling in the kitchen. Well, you know you're the only person in that house, you hearing stuff. Door shut. Like, what the heck is this? What's going on here? Things rattling. Pots dropping. I knew one person that told me, they said, I was gone. I was somewhere. They told me, they said, there was something in the hallway. I said, what? Yeah, I said, I heard somebody talking in the hallway. I said, in the hallway? What? You sure? He said, yeah. And of course, I tried to play it out because I didn't want to scare them half to death. Because, a lot of people just scary to begin with. But I know things can happen. And right here in the book of Psalms, the 78th chapter. Psalm 78, we're dealing with the spirit realm. Psalm 78. And a lot of people don't know what goes on earth goes on in the heavens. Go to Psalm 78. Look at this. And I get to all the questions and comments. Psalm 78. Look what money y'all said. In Psalm 78, the 49th verse, he said, he cast upon them the fierceness of his anger, wrath, and indignation and trouble by sending what? Evil angels amongst them. Evil angels. Evil. Angels who resist you. Spirits that come upon you, manifest themselves to you, that trouble you. That's why Satan, y'all said, hey, why you consider my servant Job? There's none like him in the earth. And Satan said, did Job fear thee for not? You made a hedge about him. I can't touch him. And what was that hedge that y'all have protecting Job? Those angels. Angels. You got so many, I can't even tell you how many angels you got. But it's a lot. It's hosts of angels. Some good, some bad. Now people don't believe that. Some evil, some righteous and good. Now let me show you this. And this is in the heaven. And this, they let the world know that that was not the Most High speaking in the New Testament where it said, this is a voice saying, this is my beloved son, of whom I am well pleased. I always taught this. That, and showed the people whose voice that was from heaven. because the creator don't identify himself as a voice. So I showed the world this. You go to the book of 2 Chronicles, the 18th chapter. They say, then God, the Father did speak. He said, Lord, just a voice from heaven saying, this is my beloved son whom I well please. I said, no, that wasn't Yah. Let me show you who that was. If you go to 2 Chronicles, dealing with the spirit realm. Remember, that voice was from heaven, right? Go to 2 Chronicles, the 18th chapter. 2 Chronicles chapter 18. And then when you get to 2 Chronicles, the 18th chapter, look what it says. In 2 Chronicles, the 18th chapter, it says in verse number 18, it said again, he said, therefore hear the word of Yah. I saw Yah, the mighty Yahuwah, sitting upon his throne. And all the hosts, how much of the hosts of heaven? All the hosts of heaven, standing on his right hand and on his left. And Yah, the mighty Yah said, the creator, who shall entice Ahab, king of Israel, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? And one spoke after this manner. These are spirits. And another spoke after that manner, saying, then there came out a spirit and stood before Yah and said, I will entice you. I will go out. And Yah said, where, how? And this spirit said, I will go out and be a lying spirit in the mouth of all his prophets, in the mouth of all the deacons, Zacharias and the deacons, Nathan from IUIs. I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all the New Testament teachers. Because they prophesied in the name, who they think they prophesied in the name of Yah, but no, they ain't prophesying in the name of Yah. And all because Yah don't speak in the New Testament. They prophesied in the name of Paul. But he said, I will be a lying spirit in the mouth of all these prophets. And Yah said, okay, go ahead. You're gonna prevail too. You're gonna prevail to the fact that Christianity is the largest religion. Why? Because I allow this lying spirit to prevail and tell the whole world that Christ is the way, the truth, and the life. And no man coming through the Father except by him. I allowed this lying spirit to prevail to the extent that he died for the sins of the world. I allowed this lying spirit to prevail that said, whosoever don't believe in him will be damned. Yah allowed that lying spirit in the mouth to go out the mouth of all these prophets that teach it is necessary for you to accept him as your Lord and Savior if you want to be saved. Yah said, go ahead, and you're going to prevail. That's why it's the largest religion upon the face of the earth, because it has prevailed. But the only one that it didn't prevail over is the righteous, is Yah's elect. Because if it were possible, they would have deceived the very elect. But the elect know that he is Yah. He changes not. The elect know that Yah is not a man that he shall lie, neither the son of a man that he shall repent. The elect know that whatsoever Elohim does, it shall be forever. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken away from it. And Yah does it that men should fear before him. So the elect is not deceived by the mouth of the lying prophets. It's only those that put their trust in the mouth of these lying prophets. When you're dealing with the spirit realm. And then we go to the book of Job, the 4th chapter. Had one of my friends tell me, he said, hey, brother Yoel, he said, and he was a roommate and with another Israelite. But the one brother said, he one night, he was just laying down, he was asleep. He happened to wake up and look over. He said the cat that he had was over in the corner and it was hunched up. It was just hunched up in the corner. And he said this spirit, he said, look, this image of an old man descended on him. And it came down on him. He said he could not move. He could not move a muscle. He just in the bed, and the spirit just came out, open, just descended. He couldn't move. He wanted to move. He said he was screaming out to his other Israelite brother in the other room because they shared an apartment together. And after brother was in a deep sleep, and he just didn't hear it. So the next day he told him, and these two good friends of mine. And he said, he said, brother, do you hear me calling you? Do you hear me hollering for you? And the brother said, nah. And I tell you, he don't mind me telling you. The teacher was Moreh Aharon. He could tell you the story. The bear witness that I'm not lying. I'm telling you all the truth. Moreh Aharon, he said, brother told me, he said, I was like, nah, I ain't hear him screaming. I ain't hear him hollering. I was sleeping. And I was sleeping good. But this happened to another Israelite brother. So these things happen. But in the book of Job, the 4th chapter, look what it says in Job, the 4th chapter, the 13th verse, that in the thoughts from the visions of the night, when deep sleep falleth on me, fear came upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones to shake. Then the spirit passed before my face. The hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern the form thereof. An image was before my eyes, and there was silence, and I heard a voice saying, shall mortal men be more just than Elohim? Shall a man be more pure than his maker? Behold, he put no trust in his service, and his angels he even charged with folly. His angels. He even charged with folly, because the angels had to keep his commandments. If you did not know, he gave us angels commandments to keep, folks. And he even charged his angels with folly. Heard stories of people saying they seeing dark shadow people. They seeing people at the end of their bed. Especially some people say when they approach death, they see these dark shadow people trying to come and get them. And I said, boy, maybe you've been watching the movie Ghost too long. I've seen these shadow people. I don't know. But this is what I'm hearing. It's all type of stuff out here when you're dealing with the spirit realm. Don't run to it. Stay away from it. Take heed to your spirit that you don't be overtaken by an evil spirit. Because these things is real. Gateways get open. The United States deals with gateways, open up gateways, portals, closing them, as I always taught with discernment. So just stay away from it, y'all. Now let's yes, you call in, brother Kevin Belly. You want to call in? That's called 513-377-5815. Anyone, y'all can call in 513-377-5815. Speak your piece. Well, let's go to deal with prophecy, future prophecy. Let's deal with future prophecy now and see if these prophecies have been fulfilled by the Christ of the New Testament, about who many call Yahushua. Let's go to the book, the scroll of Isaiah, dealing with prophecies. Let's go to Isaiah, the 42nd chapter. Isaiah chapter 42. Isaiah, the 42nd chapter. And here's what the Mighty Yah says through the scroll of Isaiah, the 42nd chapter. It says, behold, my servant, whom I behold, my elect, whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him, my servant, my elect, and he shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. Now, who is this? Who is this servant that y'all speaking about? Who is this elect that y'all speaking about? And whom his soul delighted? Is it Christ? Is it Yahushua? Now let's think for a minute. Is there anywhere in the scroll of Isaiah that the Most High called the Christ of the New Testament or Yahushua his servant? Is it any place in the scroll of Isaiah that he called the Christ of the New Testament his elect? Think about that. Think about it. And if you say yes, call in and give me the chapter and verse. That's all you got to do. Call 513-377-5815. And then he said, he shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the street. A bruised reed shall he not break, and a smoking flax shall he not quench, and he shall bring forth judgment unto truth. He shall not fail, nor be discouraged till he hath set judgment in the earth, and the owl shall wait for Christ. Did it say that? No. It said the owl shall wait for his law. The law of Yah, because he's a representative of Yah. And we're going to show all this. Thus saith Yah Elohim, he that created the heavens and stretched them out, he that spread forth the earth, and that which cometh out of it, he that giveth breath unto the people upon it, and spirit to them that walk therein. I, Yah, have called thee in righteousness, and will hold thy hand, and will keep thee and give thee for a covenant to the people. So he said, his servant, he called his servant, his elect. He said he's going to give his servant for a light to the Gentiles. He said he's going to give his servant for a covenant to the people, to open up the blind eyes, to bring out the prisoners from the prison, and from them that sit in darkness out of the prison house. Now let's verify who is this talking about, because it doesn't give a name. See, I could easily say this is Israel, but just to say it and for you to accept it, no, we can't have that. I got to be able to back up what this is saying. I have to be able to prove that the Most High called Israel his servant. I have to be able to prove that he called Israel his elect. I have to be able to prove that he called Israel and said, I'm going to give them for a covenant to the nations, a light to the people. I have to prove that. Now, if I got to prove it, it's only fair that my opponents that say this is Yahushua, it's only fair that they have to prove it as well, and prove it by name. That's all. But let me first prove that it's Israel. Then I give them the opportunity so they can prove it. And if they can prove that it's talking about Yahushua by name, Christ by name, I will sit down and stop teaching. I will officially retire from teaching. Ever. Will officially retire. And they can prove their position. But let me prove mine. Go to the book of Isaiah, the 41st chapter. Because the first thing he said, he called Israel his servant. Let's see. Isaiah, the 41st chapter. And verse number 8, what does it say? Read that. What does it say? In Isaiah, the 41st chapter, the 8th verse.
But thou, Israel, art my servant.
Thou, Israel, is who?
Art my servant.
Art my servant, yes.
Jacob, whom I have chosen.
Yaakov, whom I have chosen, yes.
The seed of Abraham, my friend.
The seed of Abraham. His what?
My friend.
His what?
My friend.
His friend. The seed of, and who's the seed of Abraham? That y'all speaking about? Israel. Although Abraham had Ishmael and Yishak. He's not talking about Ishmael. He's talking about the seed of the covenant promise, which was Isaac. And he chose Isaac, he chose Jacob, not Ishmael. Yeah, in Jacob's name, Yaakov, he changed to Israel. These are the people that he's talking about, that he called his servant. He never called the Jehovah Witness his servant. He never called the Watchtower his servant. Absolutely nowhere in the Bible, period. And we go to this book of Isaiah, the 49th chapter. Isaiah chapter 49. And we get to Isaiah, the 49th chapter. We start reading the first verse. And what does it say in Isaiah, the 49th chapter? Verse number 1.
Listen, O owls, unto me.
Listen, O owls, unto me. Now you heard he speaking Isaiah the 42nd chapter, that the owl shall wait for his law. Go ahead.
And hearken ye people from far. Yah has called me from the womb.
Yah have called me from the womb. Okay.
From the bowels of my mother had he made mention of my name.
So he, from the bowels of my mother, have he made mention of my name. All right.
And he had made my mouth like a sharp sword.
A sharp sword, a two-edged sword.
In the shadow of his hand had he hid me.
So he took him and hid him in his quiver, in the shadow of his hand. He hid his servant. And go ahead.
And made me a polished shaft.
Polished him up.
In his quiver had he hid me.
Okay.
And he said unto me, Thou art my servant, O Israel.
Oh, who?
O Israel.
Oh, Christ.
O Israel.
Oh, Yahushua.
O Israel.
Oh, Israel. And what else?
In whom I will be glorified.
So if y'all gonna get any glory at all, it's not gonna come through the Seventh-day Adventist church. It's not gonna come through the Pentecostal church, Jehovah's Witness church. It's not gonna come through Islam or Egyptology or the Mormons. It's gonna come through Israel. And that's who y'all will be glorified in. The people that he gave his word to. He said, he showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. He had not dealt so with any other nation. And as for his judgments, they have not known them, praise Yah. Then I say in verse 4, I had labored in vain. I have spent my strength for naught and in vain. Yet surely my judgment is with Yah, and my work is with my Elohim. I'm working for Yah. I work for Yah 7 days a week. I don't take no day off for working with the mighty Yah. Spread his word, waking up Yah code that's scattered in the four corners of the earth, talking with brothers in Africa, talking to sisters in English, and all throughout the United States, inboxing me in Messenger, all over, working for my Elohim. And now saith Yah, that formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob again to him, as I said earlier. Now we have to go to the Baptists. We got to go to all the people caught up in the cults today. Jacob. And we got to bring Yaakov back to Yah. Not back to Christ. Not back to Hamashiach, but back to Yah. He said, though Israel be not gathered, the 12 tribes be not gathered, yet shall I be glorious in the eyes of Yah. And he shall be my strength. And he said, it is a like thing that thou shouldest be my servant, that I'm speaking about in the scroll of Isaiah the 42nd chapter, to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserves of Israel. He said, I will also give thee for a light to the who? Gentiles. Israel. So you want to know who was given to a light to the Gentiles? It's Israel. Christ said, don't even go to the Gentiles. Stay away from the Gentiles. Quote the book of Matthew, the 10th chapter, 5th to 6th verse. It said, these 12, Yahweh commanded them, saying, go not in the way of the Gentiles, nor into any of the cities of the Samaritans. Enter ye not, but go ye rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. The mighty Yah said, I'm going to give you a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation unto the ends of the earth. Now, who want to dispute this? Who want to show any opposition to what I just read? And then let me show you, because he also said, he's also talking about his elect. Now, who did Yah call his elect? Well, all you got to do is go stay in the scroll of Isaiah, go to the 45th chapter. The 45th chapter. And these prophecies have not yet been fulfilled. The prison houses have not yet come open. Yah law is not in the Isles yet, in Barbados, Trinidad. These prophecies have not yet been fulfilled. In Isaiah the 45th chapter, he says in verse 4, he says, for Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, my elect. My elect. He never called Yahushua his elect. He never called Yahushua his servant. He never called the Christ of the New Testament his son. Absolutely nowhere in the Bible, period. He said, I called Israel my elect. I even called thee by thy name. Israel. So, folks, I backed up. Well, I knew I can back up. But these jackleg preachers can't back up what they saying. None of them. Absolutely none at all. Now let's deal with other future prophecies that have not yet been fulfilled. And this has not yet been fulfilled. The 12 tribes is not united yet. They still divided yet. They still divided onto the fact that they can't agree on one doctrine at all together. How are they going to be united? How are the prophecies going to be fulfilled with Yahweh Shah? You doing this? They can't. You waiting on a fantasy that something that's not going to happen with him. Only one to fulfill this is the elect servants of Yah and David. Let's go. Let's go to the book of Hosea, the 3rd chapter. Hosea, the 3rd chapter. Hosea chapter 3. Yes, Hosea. Beautiful prophet Hosea, the 3rd chapter. Has this prophecy been fulfilled yet? Absolutely not. Look what it said, Hosea, the 3rd chapter, the 4th verse. It said, for the children of Israel shall abide many days without a king, yes, and without a prince, yes, and without a sacrifice. Oh my goodness. What? Now we got to really examine this. It said they will abide many days without a sacrifice. I thought Christ was our sacrifice. I thought he died for our sins. I thought he was the ultimate sacrifice. But right here it said the children of Israel will abide many days without a king, without a prince, without a sacrifice, without an image, without an ephod, and without a teraphim. We still don't have these things today. We still don't, folks. But afterwards, shall the children of Israel return. Return back what? I mean, they're going to return back to Yah. And they all have not yet returned back to Yah. They all are not seeking Yah. And this said, afterwards shall the children of Israel return and seek Yah, their Elohim, and their Messiah. Their Messiah, the true Messiah of Israel, that is to come, that is prophesied to come out of the mouth of many prophets. David, their king, and shall fear Yah and his goodness in the last days. This prophecy, Yahweh Shah cannot fulfill. How can he fulfill this when it says David? Now, I will have no New Testament people call in. I just won't. I know one brother said, brother, maybe you can do it this way. Maybe you can get them to call in this way. Brother, no matter how I do it, they're not going to call in. It don't make no difference how I do it. How nice I'll be. How polite I get. How much I sweet talking to get them, get some little courage to call in. They're not going to call in. Because they cannot establish Yahweh Shah in any of these prophecies. So they're not going to do it. And this prophecy has not yet happened, has not yet occurred. Then let's visit another future prophecy that has not yet taken place yet. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, the 60th chapter. Isaiah chapter 60. Isaiah the 60th chapter. And when we get to Isaiah 60th chapter, and none of the elect will be teaching the worship of Christ. None of the elect will be teaching that you have to need Christ as your Lord and Savior. No, none of the elect will be teaching that the laws are done away with. None of the elect. The elect will be teaching that you must keep the Shabbat day. The elect will be teaching you must keep the 10 Commandments, which is an everlasting covenant. Now, if you call yourself the elect and you teach it in opposition of anything that I just said, you're not the elect. You're just not the elect. How can you teach to keep 9 of the decrees that are recorded in the Exodus, the 20th chapter? You don't keep the one that's in honor of the Most High, but you keep the ones in honor of a man. You don't keep the Shabbat day. That's the only one you don't keep because we in exile. You can't keep that. That's a feast day. And all the feast days got to be kept to the land, but you keep the other 9. You got to keep the whole package, folks. You got the whole package is a covenant. How can you say we're not under the Sabbath day, but you can keep the other 9, what you call commandments? That is what you call a contradiction. Some of you all sound like Christians. And I'm speaking about Israelites. Talking about you can't keep the Shabbat outside the land, but you can obey the other law. You can honor your mother and your father. If you can't keep the Shabbat out of the land, you can't keep that outside of the land. You can't don't take God's name in vain outside of the land. If you can't keep the Shabbat, it's an everlasting covenant. You can't separate it. You can't take I should not murder out. You can't take don't bear false witness out of the covenant. It's everlasting. So don't deal in hypocrisy. And I can respect a man or a woman. They just say, well, since I can't keep the Shabbat day outside of the land, I don't keep none of the covenant. I can respect them more than some Israelites that believe and teach that you can keep 9 of the laws, commandments, but you don't have to keep the Sabbath. Because in reality, you can't keep the covenant if that's the case. And we're not under the covenant if that's the case. And I don't care what teacher in the world is teaching that or believes that. You cannot establish that out of the mouth of the Most High. Absolutely no way. You can only establish that by your misinterpretation of what you read or your thinking and lean to your own understanding. And the priest was the only one that made offerings and sacrifices. Did the sacrificial order for us that sacrifices. The average man didn't have to do no sacrifice. And all the sacrifices were done in Jerusalem. And we had daily sacrifices and offers that the priest did daily. And if one is based it on, well, you can't keep the law unless the sacrifice was made. You can't keep none of the law. God, daily sacrifices was made daily by the priest. And what the priest did didn't have nothing to do with you and your respect of keeping the law. Keeping the morals of Yah that transcended the Holy Land. That wasn't conducive to no Holy Land. When you're talking about don't murder your brother, don't steal, don't commit adultery with your neighbor's wife, sound like a bunch of sick people. I see what the Most High said Israel is sick. They sick to believe something like this. That you can just lay indiscriminately with another man's wife if you're not under the law. Because that's exactly what you're saying. Ain't no such thing as adultery today. You just lay with anybody. You have to be sick to teach that and believe that. And there's some people out there that's actually that sick. They are actually that sick. Well, let's go to Isaiah the 60th chapter. And this is what it says. It said, arise, shine, for thy light is come, and the glory of the mighty Yah is risen upon thee. For behold, the darkness shall cover the earth, and gross darkness the people. And yes, darkness has covered the face of the earth. It's called ignorance. But the bad thing about it, the gross darkness is the chosen people of Yah. They in gross darkness. They don't even know that they true Israel. They don't even know that they the real McCoy. So it is true. Darkness is covering the earth. We call it a state of ignorance. And gross darkness the people, Israel. But Yah shall arise upon thee, and his glory shall be seen upon thee. And the Gentiles shall come to thy light. Because we the people, we are the children of the light, not darkness. And the Torah is the light. That's how I can see through the Quran. That's how I can see through the New Testament. I can see it like the old song said, I can see clearly now. The rain has gone. And you can see clearly through lies once you know truth. And the Most High word is the truth. And once you know it, once you believe it and understand it, and know his law is the truth, any other books you read, whether it's the Talmud, whether it's the book of Yashar, the book of Enoch, the book of the Babylonian Talmud, any Targums, any other books that you read that has anything in them that's in opposition of the law, you know it's a lie. You know they lying to you. See, and that's my foundation, the law. The book of Yeshua is not my foundation. The book of Enoch is not my foundation. The New Testament, the Quran, the Talmud, these other books, they ain't my foundation. The law is my foundation, because that's what salvation is based in. Salvation ain't based in these other books, Jubilees and all these other books. They're good books to read. The Apocrypha, some good books is good to read. History books dealing with this, dealing with that. But the foundation is the law. And Israelites don't run away from the law. They don't get caught up in these other books. Because you can read a lot of good things in these other books. And you can read yourself right out of the law by reading a lot of other books. Your foundation don't become the law anymore by reading these other books. So I don't get caught up, and I got all the books, all of them. Jubilees, Yashar, Enoch, all of them. Apocrypha, all of them. Because I got to be in the know. The Qurans, all of them. So I got to be in the know what Israel is into. Be able to dialogue on a level that they own. And to show them the falsehoods in these books. And all of them. But you got to know the law. The law. And the critic said, the light will shine on you once you wear the law. Once you are wearing the law. You know what I mean by wearing the law? Yah told Abraham, walk before me and be thou perfect. Now, what does that mean, walk? And I got to walk in a perfect straight line? I can't stumble. What does that mean, walk before the mighty Yah and be perfect? Meaning walking in the law. Walking in the law, as Abraham did. He kept all the commandments. He kept all the statutes. He kept all the laws of Yah, according to the Torah. And he was perfect in his days. Noah was perfect in his days. Job was perfect in his days. And I said, and the Gentiles shall come to thy light. That's why he said, when you begin to keep the law of Yah, the nation will look upon Israel and say, surely this is a wise and understanding people. What nation is there so great to have laws and commandments so righteous as the Israelites? I cannot read the laws of the Quran and find righteous laws that's more righteous than that of Torah. I cannot read the New Testament and find righteous laws more in the Gospels, epistles of Paul that's more righteous than the Most High's. In the Torah, there are none, folks. They don't exist. The Creator covers it all. From diet, from what we are to wear and not to wear, for who we are to lay with. Don't lay with beasts. Don't lay with this. He covers the whole gamut. It's ball game over, checkmate when it comes to the law of Yah. And he said, lift up thy eyes round about and see all they gather themselves together. They come to thee. They ain't talking about coming to Christ. The people, they're going to be coming to you, Israel. For 10 men out of all languages of the nations shall even take hold of the skirt of him or her that is a Yehudite, saying, we're going to go with you. For we have heard that the mighty Yahweh Yahuwah is with you. He's with you. And thy son shall come from far, and thy daughter shall be nursed at thy side. See, this is future prophecy. They ain't going to be waiting on no rapture. They ain't waiting on no God to come down from the sky and rapture them up into the heavens. No. They're waiting to be redeemed back to their holy land, to their promised land. The sons and daughters of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Is that then thou shalt see and flow together, and thy heart shall fear, and be enlarged, because the abundance of the sea shall be converted unto thee. The forces of the Gentiles shall come unto thee, the wealth, what they call reparations. It's coming to us. And people say, well, you know, the Bible don't say nothing about reparations. Well, the Bible don't say nothing about America. But we know what it's talking about. This is the modern day term used. Well, the Bible don't say reparations. Your way don't say reparations. It say wealth, gold, silver. So don't play those semantics with me, teachers. Because it's damn sure don't say America. We're going to come to America in ships. It say Egypt. But everybody should know that study. Egypt represented bondage. Egypt represented slavery. Bondage. So don't play no little games with me. You can play that with the little toddlers out here. Not with me. And it said the multitude of camels shall cover thee. The dromedaries of Midian and Ephah, all they from Sheba shall come, and they shall bring gold and incense, and they shall show forth the praises of Yah. All the flocks of Kedar shall be gathered together unto thee. The rams of Naboth shall minister unto thee. They shall come up with acceptance on my altar, and I will glorify the house of my glory. This is my Yah saying, where is his house of glory going to be? On earth, not in no heaven nowhere. He said, who are these that fly as a cloud? It won't be Christ. It won't be him flying on no cloud with no angels. No, you've been lied to. You've been hoodwinked. You've been bamboozled. You've been duped, used, and abused. Most I said, who are these that fly as a cloud? And as doves to their windows. Surely the owl shall wait for me. Because we got to bring the law to the owls. We got to educate the brothers in the owls. Jamaica, the Rastaman. Get them off of Haile Selassie. We got to educate them. Talking about Menelik and Haile he king of no. Stop it. Stop it. So we got to educate the brothers in the islands, man. In the islands. And surely the owl shall wait for me, and the ships of Tarshish. First, to bring thy sons from far, their silver and their gold with them, because the dollar bill ain't gonna be worth nothing. Can't do nothing with no dollar bill. No. We want the gold. We want the silver. And this is what we're gonna get, according to prophecy. And the sons of strangers shall build up thy walls, and their kings shall minister unto thee. For in my wrath, Yah said, I smote thee, but in my favor have I had mercy on thee. Go ahead. What did it say?
He said, but in my favor I have mercy on thee. Therefore thy gates shall be open continually.
Open continually.
And there shall not be shut day nor night.
Day that should not be shut day nor night, but I thought it was 24 hours in a day. But right here, the Most High making a distinction between day and night. He said the gates won't be shut day nor night. Let you know a night don't begin a day. When darkness hit, you deal with night, not another day. You can establish a day beginning at night. Nowhere in the Bible, period, can any minister, moray, teacher, rabbi, Kohen establish that. Go ahead.
That men may bring unto thee the forces of the Gentiles.
The wealth of the Gentiles, okay.
And that their kings may be brought.
Their kings gonna be brought, okay.
For the nation and the kingdom that will not serve thee.
Hold on, stop. For the nation and kingdom that will not serve who?
Thee.
Who is thee? Not Christ. They gotta bow them. These people gotta bow down themselves to us. Not because I said it, but because Yah said it. Go ahead.
Okay.
For the nation and kingdom that would not serve thee.
Shall perish. Yea, those nations shall be utterly wasted.
And so they don't want to serve Israel. They're gonna be what?
Utterly wasted.
They're gonna be utterly what? Wasted? And this sound like a God that loves everybody? And this sound like a God that is concerned about numbers? Or this sound like an Elohim that deals with population control? One brother said, well, how are we gonna keep multiplying? If the earth is that big, if we gotta keep living forever, multiply? I said, Yah deals with population control. He deals with population reduction. That's what COVID-19 is, part of population reduction. It's too many people. So Yah said, I cleanse the land, I get rid of a whole bunch of them. They worthless to begin with. And this is just the beginning. COVID-19, this virus from y'all, this is just the beginning. We ain't seen nothing yet. Go ahead.
Say the glory of Lebanon shall come unto thee, the fir tree, the pine tree, and the box together to beautify the place of my sanctuary. And I will make thee place of my feet glorious.
It said the sons also of them that afflicted thee shall come what? Bending unto thee. We're the one in Isaiah the 53rd chapter said he was despised. He was deflected. He was rejected, a man acquainted with sorrows and grief. He's speaking about Israel through the scroll. And he said, what? The sons are also of them that afflicted thee shall what?
Come bending.
Come
unto
bending.
thee, and all they that despise
Oh, there you go. What did I just say?
bow themselves down at the sole of thy feet, and I shall call thee the city of Yah,
And they shall call thee the city of Yah,
the Zion of the Holy One.
the Zion of the Holy One of Israel. They're going to call you the city of Yah because men got to come to us. They got to bow down to us. And if they don't like it, they got to take that up with the Most High. They got to humble themselves to Israel. Then he said, whereas thou hast been forsaken and hated. You've been forsaken and hated, y'all. But we hate one another. We can't stand over it. We despise one another. But the mighty Yah said, the other nations hate us. We are despised and hated. We are the ones that is rejected of men. Except when they want your money. And then they want to open up businesses in the black community to feed off of you. They want to open up churches in the African American community to feed off of you, to get that dollar. You got the pimps getting it. You got the Arabs getting it. You got the Europeans getting it. And the Most High Prophet, he said, my people are like a speckled bird. And all the birds round about her are against her. They come to devour. They come to get that interest-free loan, open up a business, and you patronize. But when your own brother say, can you help me out? Can you help a brother out? You say, I ain't help that nigga up. Nigga ain't getting no rich off of me. He ain't, this end ain't getting rich off of you. But you letting the oppressors get rich off of you. This man will be, he will earn billions because of the ignorance of black folks buying up Christmas toys, buying up a tree, bringing a heathen tree, bringing in lights and decorating it on a December 25th, a day where they can't even establish the Christ of the New Testament being born on. Can't even establish the fact that nobody celebrated Christmas in the Bible, period. But they will be doing this because they seen the heathen do. And they will make him rich overnight. But when it comes to their own brother, because the own brother he got to raise prices just to compete against his enemies. They'll say, ain't getting rich off of me. Nah, But they will gladly take their dollars and give it to a man that he go home and talk about how many ends came in his store today. How many of them patronize him today. And he can't stand you. He can't stand your guts, but you love to give your money to him. I always try to make sure I patronize black businesses. How can I go through a week without patronizing my people businesses, and I'm constantly patronizing the heathens? Buying from the heathen. Supporting the heathen. Chris said that's an abomination. And he said, thou shalt also suck the milk of the Gentiles, and shall also suck the breast of kings. And thou shalt know that I, Yah, am thy Savior. I'm your Savior. I'm your Redeemer. I'm the only one to redeem you. I'm the only one to put y'all tails in this condition. I'm the mighty one of Jacob. I'm the king, said Yah. You can't get around me. Can't go through my so-called, any of my son to get around me. You got to come to me, said Yah. Christ ain't fulfilled none of this. Then we go to and we read this, go to Isaiah, back to Isaiah the 49th chapter. These future prophecies. Isaiah the 49th chapter. And then we go in Isaiah the 49th chapter, start reading in verse number 22. In Isaiah the 49th chapter, this is where I'm start reading from. And here the mighty Yah said, thus saith Yah. You will never see this in the New Testament, where the Father speaks. It said, thus saith Yah Elohim, behold, I'm going to lift up my hand to the nations, to the Gentiles. And I'm going to send up my standard to the people. And they shall bring thy sons in their arms, and thy daughters shall be carried upon their shoulders. And thy kings shall be thy nursing fathers, and their queens thy nursing mothers. And they shall bow down to thee with their face toward the earth, and lick up the dust of thy, same thing he just said in Isaiah 60. And they shall lick up the dust of thy feet. Now some of you all, I know you got white girlfriends. I know you all got white boyfriends. And people from other nationalities in your family. We got white in our, hell, we got white in our family. Goes back. But I can't stop what y'all prophesied. I can't get mad at what the Most High prophesied. Because you know you get people that actually get mad at me for teaching the truth. Because they got white folks in their family. They get upset. Because they got white folks in their family. They get mad at me for pointing out what the Most High said he's going to do with the Gentiles and the nations. And this is what he said. So you get all mad at, you ain't get mad at me, you get mad at the Most High. And this is what he said. He said, for they shall not be ashamed that wait for me, till the prey be taken from the mighty, or the lawful captive delivered. But thus saith Yah, even the captives of the mighty shall be taken away, and the prey of the terrible shall be delivered. For I will contend with him that contendeth with thee, and I will save thy children, and I will feed them that oppress thee with their own flesh, and they shall be drunken with their own blood. So you doomsday preppers out there that think you can stock up power food and water, Most High said, no. No, I don't care about all that food you trying to stockpile and all that water you trying to stockpile. Most High said you're going to drink your own blood as it was sweet wine. And all flesh should know that I am Yah, am the Savior of Israel and the Redeemer of Israel, and I'm the mighty one of Israel. And if you don't acknowledge Yah's might, you're going to be dust and ashes. And I'm speaking to the nations. You're going to be nothing but dust and ashes. So if you all Israelites out there that love the heathen and the Gentiles more than you do the Most High word, and you want to cling unto them and cling unto their ideologies and philosophies and their paganism and their culture, you're going to be destroyed right along with the heathen. Right along with them. And ain't nothing Christ can do to reverse this. There's nothing he can do to reverse this damnation that's going to befall the nations and heathens. Then we go to the book of Jeremiah, the 30th chapter. And he's not done yet. Go to Jeremiah, the 30th chapter. Jeremiah chapter 30. Brother said, you said bullshit. You see how emotional they get? Now, he will not dare call in and tell me what I said was wrong. Tell me what I read was wrong. Straighten me out before the public. He can't do it. He can only get emotional. As many out there will get emotional, as I just told you. They will get emotional, upset. But when it comes to putting up or shutting up, all they can do is do this. Online. They can't dialogue and conversation and edify the public and point out where I was wrong, where I erred at, and where I pointed out. And I'm not done yet, brother. You're going to see some more BS, according to you. Let's go to Jeremiah, the 30th chapter. Let's go to Jeremiah 30th, but this is what happens when they get emotional. Let's go to Jeremiah, the 30th chapter. And we're going to start at verse number. Don't get mad at me because you got a white wife. That ain't my problem. Don't get mad at me, maybe, because you got a white boyfriend. Don't get mad at Brother Yoel. The Creator said, don't learn the ways of the heathen. Stay away from the heathen. You don't even know where this man even came from. Whether he came from the Caucasus Mountains of Europe or mingled with a Neanderthal. You can't even tell me his history, his origin. So don't get mad at me. If you want to defend a white man, you go right ahead. But I will not offend a man. The Most High said, not even a people. It is a difference between beasts and people. You heard said, you dealing with a people that's not even a people. A nation that's not even a people. Like I said, they get mad. They get mad all they want to. Let's see what Jeremiah the 30th chapter says. And we're gonna start reading verse number 5. Because he buy you coffee and donuts. Now he won you over. I know it. And that's what a white man gotta do. Buy you some coffee and donuts. He good white man. He good. But let's read Jeremiah the 30th chapter. Let's go to verse 5. It said, thus saith Yah, we have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Well, why are you getting upset with my brother? Call in and prove what I'm saying was BS. But nevertheless, it said, ask ye now and see, or type in what did I say? And see whether a man does travail with child. Wherefore do I see every man with his hands on his loins, as a woman in travail. So the prophet Jeremiah said, he's seen this vision. He's seen this. He's seen this. And then he said, alas, for that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Yaakov will be saved, but gonna be time of Yaakov's trouble, a time of tribulation. For it shall come to pass, anyone that been listening to me long enough, they know I don't spare whether a man is white, black, yellow, green, or brown. I talk about all. I'm not biased. And I talk about other black nations. Yah told Israel don't even deal with certain black nations. Not because of their color, but because of their practice, because of their idolatry, because of their belief system. We're not even supposed to marry certain black nations, African nations, according to the Torah. So don't get me wrong when I get to talking about white folks. No black Israelite should be marrying a white woman, and she taking him away from the Most High. No black Israelite woman worth a grain of salt should be marrying a white man, a heathen, a pagan. He don't even know Yah, not even worshiping Yah. I ain't even blessed Israel, blessed the nation. Now, I don't know any John Browns out there. Now, if y'all know some John Browns out there and some of them was abolitionists, then maybe you could talk to them. But I don't know none. And right here, say verse 8, for it shall come to pass in that day, said Yah hosts, that I will break his yoke. Now, brother said, now he said he loved me. All right.
Hey, he said, hey, I'm white too. He said, but I'm one with you all. He said, love you, bro.
I love you too, bro. Now we brothers, right? Now we brothers. That's all right. But I have to teach truth. I can't, and you're going to notice this about me every time I teach. I'm not a respecter of persons at all, period. And some on my own Israelite family think I'm too hard on them because I'm after them a lot. A lot. More than anybody else, more than any nation. I'm really concerned about Israelites. But as it says right here, the Most High said he's going to burst our yoke and burst our bonds. And strangers shall no more serve themselves of him. But they shall serve Yah, their Elohim, and David, their king, whom I will raise up unto them. King David. Christ can't fulfill this. This is the last day prophecy of the Messiah. And he said, therefore fear thou not, O my servant Jacob. Saith Yah, neither be dismayed, O Israel, for lo, I will save thee from afar, and thy seed from the land of their captivity. And Yaakov shall return, and shall be at rest, and be quiet, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with thee, saith Yah, to save thee, though I make a full end of all nations. This is the Most High. This is not me speaking, my white brother. This is the Most High speaking. And the crazy thing, he's going to make a full end of all nations that have served off of the Israelites. And the United States is one of them. Don't you know they have not even apologized for slavery as a collective, as a whole. Now, I'm anxious to see if Joe Biden come out and apologize for slavery and talk about giving us reparations. Because I know when I see one of the Democratic debates, when they was all running to see who would be getting elected, he wasn't for reparations. He was talking about doing something else. Now, all the other people, the Native Americans, the Japanese, other people in Code done got reparation for what the United States have done to them, but what had the black man got? The black woman. They can't even get an apology for slavery. You know what they tell us? Oh, why y'all gotta keep talking about that? Keep bringing up slavery. We ain't had nothing to do with that. That was our ancestors. We ain't had nothing to do with that. We ain't had nothing to do with slavery. Nothing at all to do with it. That was our forefathers. Well, your forefathers was guilty, and they profited off of our forefathers. They got rich off of our forefathers' inventions. Stole inventions. Put their name on the patent. All that free labor. 200 or 300 years of free labor off our people. And you think we shouldn't get restitution? Huh? Who think that's fair? Who thinks that's fair? That's balance. Y'all said no, it's not balance. That's why I'm gonna turn all the wealth over to you. And the nation of kingdom that don't want to serve you, the Israelites, my son, my Jews, my world without end, my battle axe and weapons of war, my Jews, my wife, because they coming back to me. And no nation's got able to withhold my wife from coming back to me. Said the mighty Yah. And any nation that attempts to hold my wife, as Pharaoh did, I'm going to destroy them, saith Yah. I'm going to destroy the land. Not only am I going to send pestilence in it, I'll drop all your water. I light fires all throughout California and Colorado, everywhere. I will bring my wrath down on the nations that attempt to keep my son, my wife, from me, from coming back into my arms. I'm going to destroy him. And when the Most High, when he's done with this nation and all the other lands, they're going to be like, let Israel go. Sit them out. Get them out, or we all going to be dead men here. Dead women here. You're going to be talking like Pharaoh. Get them up out of here. Get these Israelites, get these black Jews up out of here, out of our land. Going to be crying for us to leave. And the Most High says, verse 11, Jeremiah 30, for I am with thee, saith Yah, to save thee. Though I make a full end of all nations would I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee. But I will correct thee in measure and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. And I want you to know, my white brother, that a lot of Israelites going to die. A lot of us going to die. I don't know if I'm going to make it back. Don't even know I'm going to make it to the wilderness or not. Because we first prophesied to go into the wilderness. And then y'all going to purge out the rebels. It's going to be a mixed multitude amongst us. Hell, you might be one of the mixed multitude. I don't know. You might be there and I might not be there. I don't know. But I know it's going to be another clinging to us. And the Most High said, all the rebels won't go into the land. All the rebels, they're going to be purged out in the wilderness. And right here, the Most High said, verse 12, thus said Yah, thy bruise is incurable, and thy wound is grievous. And there is none to plead thy cause, because he wounded us. There has been bound up, there has no healing medicines. See, there is no doctor that our people could go to be cured of their sickness. And the sickness that we suffer from is a sickness called amnesia. Don't know who we are as a people, our nationality, don't know our culture, our language. We've been stripped from that because the Most High did it to our people. And he said, all thy lovers have forgotten thee, they seek thee not. For I have wounded thee with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the multitude of thy iniquity, because thy sins were increased. That's what he told us, why he did it. Because our sins were increased, and then we go to the book. But this prophecy can only be fulfilled by David, because it's the word of the mighty Yah, and this is what Yah gonna do, not Christ. Then let's go to the book of Ezekiel, the 37th chapter. But do we have any comments? Do we have any comments or any questions before we go to Ezekiel 37? Ezekiel 37 chapter.
He just got respect. Y'all get it later.
All right. Ezekiel 37 chapter. And here's what it says. In Ezekiel the 37th chapter, the 21st verse, it says, say unto them, thus saith Yah, behold, I will take the children of Israel from amongst the heathen. Now, you know, all these prophecies speaking about bringing our people back home, to our homeland from amongst the heathen, the children of Israel. Because we the only people in the world that was taken out of our own land through by the act of captivity and has not yet returned home. We're the only people in the world waiting to be redeemed, waiting to be rescued, waiting to be saved. And the Most High said, behold, I will take the children of Israel from amongst the heathen. And whether they be gone, and will gather them on every side and bring them into their own land. This is not their land. Canada is not their land. Damona is not their land. But he's going to bring us into our own land. And I will make them one nation in the land upon the mountains of Israel. And one king shall be king to them all. And there shall be no more two nations, no more the house of Judah and the house of Israel. Neither shall they be divided into two kingdoms anymore at all. Neither shall they defile themselves anymore with their idols, nor with their detestable things. But I will save them out of all their dwelling places, wherein they have sinned, wherein they have broken my law. And I will cleanse them, saith Yah. So shall they be my people, and I will be their God, their Elohim. I'm going to be their father. Not Christ, not Haile Selassie, not Allah. Yah said, I'm going to be their God. And David, my servant, not Christ, not Muhammad, not Haile Selassie, but David, the one who was fighting bears and lions. David, the valiant man of Yah, the one that Yah said, I chose him. After Jesse said, let all his sons pass before me, Yah said, no, none of them. I chose the youngest. I don't have man. See, man look on the outward appearance. But Yah said, I look on the heart. Because he got a warrior's heart. He had a real warrior's mind state. And he didn't put nothing before Yah. No idol, no nothing. Absolutely none. And when the time would come to take heads off, David said, I'm the man. Well, y'all running from the giant. I'm going to run to the giant. While all y'all big bucks running from him, I'm just a little running child. I'm going to run to him. Where he at? Who is this that's going to defy the armies of the true and living Elohim? He ain't nothing but bread. Bring him on. And that's how I view the rabbis. That's how I view the imams. That's how I view the sheikhs, the Christian reverends. They ain't nothing but bread. Nothing but bread. And like I said, they won't call in. Number one, because they don't have nothing. They don't have nothing. They ain't working with nothing. How you going to fight against the word of Yah with the book called the Quran? You can't even attack the Torah with the Quran, because the Quran piggybacks off the Torah. It substantiates the Torah, the Old Testament. How are you going to validate or back or try to come against the word of Yah with the New Testament? Epistles, letters of what Paul said to the Romans, what Paul said to the Galatians, what Paul said to the Ephesians. You cannot. Totally impossible. When it itself will be a verification of the Torah. And that is a lie. It is a total contradiction of the word of Yah. You have to set these facts straight. And right here, the Most High said, David, my servant, shall be king over them, and they shall all have one shepherd. And they shall also walk in my judgments and observe my statutes and do them. They're going to be doing the law. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given unto Yaakov, my servant, wherein your fathers have dwelt. And they shall dwell therein, even they and their children and their children's children forever. And my servant David is not going to die. He's not going to give up his throne, his seat. He's going to be their prince forever. Now, how long is forever? Forever, 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 ever, forever, ever, forever. And moreover, mighty Yah said, I will make a covenant of peace with them. It shall be an everlasting covenant with them. I will place them and multiply them and set my sanctuary in the midst of them forevermore. Checkmate. That is the word of Yah. And there will be no one come against the word of Yah, simply due to the fact because there is no wisdom, there is no understanding, there is no counsel against the word of Yah. Absolutely none. And anyone attempt to challenge what I brought out today, they will only get put to shame. They will only be put to shame. So I only teach what thus said Yah. And the more you listen, and what we teach at our house of Yehuda is only what thus said Yah. There's no need for us to add to the word of the Most High. There's no need for us to take away from the word of the Most High. There's no need for us to create a doctrine of our own and try to make somebody think that we know more than anyone else, because we really don't. We really don't. We only know what the Most High declared. And he said, I declare things that's right. I speak righteousness. And we hang on to that. Now, when we hang on to that, and we stay fast on that, that what will make you wise if you hang on to what Yah said. But when you start to deviate and go off what a man said, he said this, she said that, well, then I asked him, back it up. Back it up with the word of the Most High. And they can't. They struggle with it. They get angry, upset, because they've been putting their trust in a man. That ain't my fault. That's not my fault. Ain't nothing I can do about that. I'm sorry. Sorry. But these are prophecies. Last day prophecies. And we established the fact that we dealt with the spirit realm. Oh, I did deal with the question from last week again and taught it from a scripture standpoint of law and what we should do and what we should not do. Then we dealt with the spirit realm. And we brought up the fact that, you leave that alone. You leave that alone. You don't deal with witches. You don't deal with people with familiar spirit. You don't let somebody, you got to know spirits that you're dealing with. And I brought up for women, you don't let everybody plait your hair. You just don't do it. No people. Well, my sister brought out one of my in-laws. I did my first time hearing that. She said a witch was talking to one of my family members. I'm out there. You got to tell me who that was so I can talk to him in the elevator, and she just sit there and listen to him. You get away from stuff like that. Get away from stuff like I believe, did you say you was driving somewhere and somebody was trying to talk to you?
Yeah, when I was with Mama, but we was actually parked, and it was this palm real place up on Redding Road. And she asked, did she want me to read her palm?
She asked you she asked you why you was in a car?
But I had the window up.
You had the window up? Oh my goodness.
In the wintertime. And we was waiting for my dad.
Oh my goodness.
Because the car was acting up. Yeah, she started coming down.
Good gracious of money.
Yeah.
Good gracious of money. And these things is out here. That's why you don't delve in that stuff. And you got a spirit, you feel like you got a spirit in your house. Say a prayer. Say it's certain prayers that I say. And they don't like the utterance of the name Yah. They don't like that at all. Because within the confines of that is power. With the name of the mighty Yah. So want to deal with that and bring that out today for people that's dealing with certain spirits that on there. I told them certain music you just listen to. You got a spirit on you, anger, you upset about something, put on some mellow music. Bring that temperament down. You don't want to put on no bang bang, no rah rah and stuff to get you up. You want to be low. And I love jazz, me personally. Need some Sade or something. Let me look. I know you don't like Sade. I like Sade.